Hello everyone, my name is Sahana Kumar and I'm continuing on with our Thanksgiving series here at Local Leaders, and today I will be making vegan biscuits and gravy. So let's get right into it. First, let me put on my apron. Alright, let's get into it. Alright, so the first thing we're going to make is our vegan biscuits. For the biscuits, you're going to need 2 cups of all-purpose flour and extra for workspace, 1 tablespoon baking powder, which I mixed with 3/4 tablespoon salt, half a cup of vegan margarine, which looks just like butter, plus extra for brushing. But guys, I made a mistake here. I melted it down. You should not melt it down. I will go more over my mistake later. And half a cup of soy, almond, or rice milk, plus more as needed. I chose almond milk because it has the least taste compared to soy and rice milk in my opinion, so it's a nice neutral to add. But here's why you should not melt your butter like I did when you're making biscuits. So the entire point of having biscuits is that it acts like a bread without the actual yeast factor. So the butter is actually supposed to help it stay nice and light and fluffy, but when you melt it down, you don't exactly get that airy effect. So my biscuits are not going to look as bright and fluffy as yours will, but that's okay because they'll taste the same. After you add all of your margarine in and whisk it, you should have these clumps. So now that you have larger clumps, you're going to add in all of your vegan milk. So I'm going to add them in parts, but you can't add them all at once. But here's where I stop using an electric mixer and I'm going to try to fold it in. Alright, so after you fold in all of your milk, you are going to have this kind of semi-mixed, semi-not mixed pastry kind of thing. So I'm now going to move it over to my wooden board and we're going to fold it until it gets into a nice dough. So this is just what happened when I put it on the cutting board. So I'm going to take all of this leftover flour and try to melt it into a dough. So let's just check it in 2 minutes. Here we are after about 2 minutes. So now I'm going to flatten it out so that it's about 1 inch thick, and then I'm going to cut it into circles. Guys, so once you have about 1 inch thick as a dough, what I did is just stuck a cup in there and I'm just going to press down on it until it divides itself from the rest of the dough. So you do not want to overwork this dough because then you might have too much gluten formation. So just an FYI, if you're having trouble, you may have overworked it. So here is my biscuit. It is a little bit lopsided, but we're just going to ignore that. So I'm just going to place it here on my baking sheet. FYI guys, for the baking sheet, you can't exactly see it anymore, but instead of putting down a baking sheet over this so that it doesn't stick to the actual pan, I'm just going to spray a whole lot of this canola oil on top, just because we do want to avoid some plastic waste, and if you want to save the environment by just a little bit more, you might want to just put a spray on. Alright, so this is what it looks like right before you put them into the oven. So you should have around 8 in total. I do have a little one. We're just going to ignore it. It's an anomaly. So let's put them in the oven for about 12 to 15 minutes until they golden, and let's see what happens then. Guys, I'm about 12 minutes in and they are crisping up, so I'm going to take them out. Alright, so before I take my biscuits out of the oven, I will be making gravy to put on top. Alright, so you'll need 2 cups of vegetable broth, 3 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, which I mixed with 3/4 teaspoon onion powder, 1 tablespoon soy sauce, and I mixed that, loosely mixed, with half a teaspoon of Dijon mustard, and 1/4 a cup of all-purpose flour. And now I'm just going to put all of my ingredients into where I'm putting my vegetable broth. And just an FYI, while this is happening, I am heating up my pot beforehand. And the soy sauce and Dijon. And now we're going to move that over to the stovetop. Alright, so I've added all of my ingredients into one bowl, and now it's time to pour it into our heating up pot. So I have a tiny whisk here, and after I get all of my ingredients from this bowl into the boiler, I am going to whisk this for 5 minutes or as long as possible until you get that nice thick gravy consistency. So right now it's on the boiler and I am mixing it just like that continuously, and you can see that it still has a watery consistency because I just got started. So let's wait a little bit more and see what happens when it thickens up. So yeah, this is what it looks like at its culmination. It's nice and thick and it's bubbling, so it's ready to take it off the stove. Alright guys, so this is what the biscuits look like after they are done. I put on a couple of them sorghum, which is like molasses. If you usually put honey or butter on your biscuits, because those things are both not vegan, molasses is the next best option and it tastes absolutely delicious. And on this one I put gravy, but I did eat a lot of gravy beforehand, so we're just only gonna put it on one of them. And I did eat a couple because I was really hungry and they looked really good. Alright, so that was our biscuits and gravy video. So essentially the point of all of our local leaders Thanksgiving videos is to show that, you know, to have an Americanized Thanksgiving does not mean you have to stop being vegan or vegetarian, and that you can be healthy and eco-friendly no matter what occasion. So I hope you have watched the past videos and will watch the many more to come. So yeah, that's all. I hope you liked the video. Like, subscribe, comment, all the other YouTuber things that we do now. And that's about it. So, bye!